Well, good day and welcome to you. It is Friday, December the 10th. I hope you are having a wonderful day wherever you happen to be. My name is Gary Willing, and I want to welcome everyone to Search for Signs. Now, if you are new to Search for Signs, might I just point out, I have some links for you to look at if you so choose, so you can get as much information that you need to see if there's any truth to this. So hopefully you'll check it out. And I do recommend checking out the Share International website first, because there you can really get all the information you need in one spot. Okay, so hopefully you'll check it out. And if you go there, you'll see what I'm talking about. All right. Now, I do have a comment to cover, and I want to just devote this one video to this one comment. So the others who posted comments, I will have to put it up in another video. So I do apologize. I like to put them all in one, but I think this is going to get a little lengthy, so I don't want to have the video be too long. So thank you for your patience. All right, so this is coming from Gone Fishing for Souls. The Bible is clear that the Antichrist cannot appear on the scene until Christ lets him appear. You're just pushing New Age, one world order, communism, which is what the Antichrist will bring, plus a false peace where everyone is tracked and monitored 24/7. All that New Age garbage comes from the East, and you are pushing it. You have blood on your hands, sir, as all of this is from the Lucius Trust or Lucifer magazine from that devil lady, Madame Blavatsky. All right. Hate to break it to you, Gone Fishing for Souls, but there isn't one thing you said in this comment that's true. So anyway, I hate to laugh. You know, for those who have had to endure these comments, as I've had to, I understand why people think what they think about the Antichrist and so forth, but I'll start off by saying this. First of all, you didn't even spell Blavatsky right. And Madame Blavatsky had nothing to do with Lucius Trust. That was Alice Bailey, okay? And there was no Lucifer magazine. So anyway, you know, maybe next time, whoever wrote this, Gone Fishing for Souls, whatever the heck that means, you'll at least get that portion of it right. So anyway, Alice Bailey was behind Lucius Trust. Madame Blavatsky was, she started the Theosophical Society. All right. Now, I would be willing to lay money down that this person, like I said, whoever this is from the United States, because what they talked about in terms of communism. You know, I mean, there's always been this red fear, you know, of communism going way back to McCarthyism in the 50s and so forth. And it's, I think, resurfacing again because of the fact that the right, and I hate to say this, has really no political policies to stand on. So they're just throwing whatever they can, and it's working, you know, because obviously people believe it, you know what I mean? Anything that they can do to try to get reelected again. And one way of doing it is to label people like Biden and Obama. I don't agree 100% with Biden, and I didn't agree 100% with Obama. So I'm not like just siding with them all the time. I try to look at politics objectively, right? Which is part of my frustration with the politics in the United States. But they try to label Biden, because he's the president now, we'll talk about him, as this far left, you know, aggressive, dangerous dictator wannabe. And there's no truth to it. He's actually a corporate Democrat. And I put forth this, you know, in the last video or two ago, I called him Republican light. He's like Republicanism without the problem of ideological, you know, what's the term I'm looking for? You know, without putting forth this religious ideology to try to get elected, like so many Republicans did. George W. Bush did it. Trump did it, which is hilarious given what you know, what we've all known about Trump over the years, that he is remotely religious at all. Is just it just cracks me up. But he did it, of course, to try to get to win the evangelical vote as a Republican and so forth. But I challenge anyone who thinks that, let's say, Biden, not to get off on a political tangent, but you know, Biden, what Biden's putting forth in terms of legislation or anything that Obama did while he was president as communistic. I challenge anybody to do this. Now, people in this country are deathly afraid of socialism. They think socialism and communism are the same thing, which they really aren't. There's actually three economic ideologies right now. There's there's capitalism, communism, and socialism. Those are the three, but they're ideologies. Now, the economic model that Maitreya is putting forth, that he says is the best for any country, really is about 80% socialist, 20% capitalist. So he's not talking about communism at all. There's not one thing in Maitreya's teachings that talks about communism either. But he says that it's like two wheels on the same cart. You need both. Right now the United States is about 98% capitalism and 2% socialism. But it's becoming more and more socialist. People don't realize how socialist this country really is, but it's corporate socialism. Just as people don't understand what true communism is. There isn't really true communism in the world either. That was the theory that was put forth by Karl Marx. China and Russia are state-sponsored capitalism, actually. And so there's no truth to that either. But the Bible doesn't talk about communism at all. Communism was written about 100 or 200 years ago by Karl Marx. So I challenge anybody that can look in the Bible and say, this is what it says about the Antichrist bringing about communism, right? And you don't have to worry about the Antichrist coming out to be monitored 24/7. You already are if you have a cell phone. You know what I'm saying? You're monitored 24/7 by not only the phone companies, but the government and the NSA can do it. And guess who was the Republican, or guess who was the political party? I just spoiled it, but guess who was the political party that created the legislation that had this sense of urgency that they needed to track everybody on the cell phone? It wasn't the Democrats. It was the Republicans under Bush. It was, the Patriot Act. That all came underneath, right after 9/11 with the war on terrorism. So, historically, look it up. But people blame Obama for trying to do this, and there's no truth in it. And the thing that's frustrating, as somebody who follows politics, it's not only frustrating that people believe this garbage, right? But it's also frustrating that the Democrats aren't saying, this is not true. You know what I'm saying? There's no truth to the Democrats trying to get you to, give up your guns even, or to, they're going to come get your guns, or they're trying to monitor or create some kind of dictatorial state. There's no truth to any of that. It's all fear and rumors. And this is the reason why people think what they think about this stuff. But I challenge you to see if there's any verses in the Bible that talk about communism, because I know there isn't, right? Same thing with being monitored 24/7. They didn't talk about that. They didn't even talk about what, 24 hours or 7 days a week in the Bible, really. But how would they have talked about monitoring anybody? Now, I can understand what you're misunderstanding what it means in terms of this false peace. But again, let me just cover this for those people who are new. Not for you, because I doubt you'll believe what I have to say anyway. But for those who are new, the Antichrist was written in Revelation as a symbol for an energy that's released to purposefully. Now, it's a nefarious energy, but it's actually released purposefully and it has a beneficent kind of reason behind it eventually. But it's released to destroy the old ways of thinking and relating. So think about it in terms of a farmer that wants to plant crops in a field that hasn't been used, and it's overgrown with all the brush and refuse and all that stuff. They'll sometimes light the field on fire to kind of clear it out and then plant the crops. And that's kind of in essence what it is energetically. But it was released first through Emperor Nero, who lived during the time that John wrote Revelation. That was the first beast in the Bible. And it destroyed Roman way of thinking to allow Christendom to occur and flourish, which it did. And over the last 2,500 years, we've been under the influence of the energies of the constellation of Pisces, and moving out now into under the influence of another constellation of the energies of Aquarius. If you're religious, ask yourself why the symbol of the fish is written all throughout the New Testament. Well, Jesus was the world teacher for the then New Age of the age of Pisces. And it was a symbol that people at the time would understand because they looked to the stars, they looked to the constellations, and the symbol for Pisces was a symbol that was used and understood by people long before Jesus came on the scene. And then if you look at the Aquarian age, which is the water carrier, Jesus said to his disciples, follow the man carrying the bucket of water up the steps and thus prepare the feast. It was said right before the Last Supper or the Lord's Supper, or whichever way you want to refer to it, which is another symbol for, like it's a symbol for the world teacher for this upcoming age of Maitreya. But more importantly, how humanity is going to start to relate to that energy is really what it amounts to. So the Antichrist was then re-released through the Axis powers during World War I and World War II. It really culminated in World War II with the fascists in Germany, or fascists in Italy and Germany, really, too, Nazis in Germany, and the militarists in Japan. And so it was defeated and not destroyed. But eventually, and this is it talks about this relative peace, not a false peace, but a relatively, temporary peace between now and about 3,500 years from now, when that energy is re-released again, halfway through the time of Capricorn. That's why it says the beast will be chained back for a time and a half, talking about one new age, another age of, not only the age of Aquarius, which is about 2,500 years, but a half of the time of Capricorn. So that's where it comes from with that. But I think probably the biggest misinterpretation, I talk about it all the time, but the biggest misinterpretation of Revelation is the timing of everything. Just like the biggest misinterpretation of Genesis is the timing of everything. So I believe, and I'm just putting this out there for you to think about, and I'm sure people like this person who wrote Gone Fishing for Souls, whether you're listening to this or not, wouldn't believe this, and it's just fine. That's up to them to believe or not. But are misinterpreting the fact that John was talking about a time frame of several thousand years. So they still look for the Antichrist, but they're looking for it as an individual. But the Bible doesn't talk about it, that the Antichrist will bring this false peace and will track and monitor you 24/7 and instill communism, which is one of the biggest fears that people who have no idea what even communism is. They relate communism and fascism, too, as one thing. But actually, if you look at freedom, okay, and I'm going to end it with this. Historically, more communists died during World War II in the fight for freedom, fighting the Nazis in Germany, than the people in the United States. But yet the United States always puts forth this ideal that they are the only ones that are fighting for liberty and peace around the world. Communism and fascism are two different things, too. You know what I'm saying? But yet it's kind of getting meshed together. And if you look politically in this country, the fascism is not coming from the left, it's coming from the right. And the right are very smart because they're actually they're being proactive in putting out this narrative that the left is fascist, when actually they're the ones that are really fascists. You look at what happened under George W. Bush for the 8 years when he was president, where the Bill of Rights was eroded away to a large extent by the Patriot Act and so forth, by the FISA courts. And then, but yet they always put out that the left are the ones that are doing it. And, we can talk about it some more if you want, but, it's becoming a very dangerous situation in this country, fascism. But it's coming from the political and religious right, not from the left. And, like I said, so just my 2 cents on everything. You guys have a great day, and I'll talk to you later. Remember to take action and help SOP save our planet. Thanks for listening, and we look forward to talking to you again in future videos.